Okay, slight break from doing my 50 cal, but it's looking good. Tripod's brill, isn't it? Anyway, I was cooking last night and all my lights went off, and I went up, flew the trip back on, and when I came back down I realised that my mini oven was buggered. It's a little Cookworks, and I use this little mini oven because it's pretty much a waste of time using a big gas oven, because it takes about an hour and a half to heat up a tiny little pie, whereas this takes about 20 minutes. So this is the effective way to do it. So anyway, so I stripped the bugger down, and straight away I thought an element's probably gone in this. So I took a ton of screws out of it, out the base, all the way out around and out the back, and you can see it's very basic inside these things. I'm stretching the wires a little bit at the moment, but basically it has elements for the grill up at the top, and that's basically what I use this for. I use the two grill elements, which are just bar elements which run across from one side to the other here. Now in this oven they actually ran in series, and this is the element which I have removed. You can see it was secured at one end over there with a little screw, and you basically slide this through the hole there on the end, and it passes through, and you secure it with a little screw from the inside, as that one is there. And it's wired in series, as I say, so there's two elements. So this is running at 240 volts. So the two elements basically provide a potential divider. So each element will be running at about 120 volts, give or take a little bit, maybe 115. So 115 volts, say 130 volts. There'd probably be a little bit of loss through some of the other components, controls and stuff. But anyway, so I took this front element out. You can straight away, you can see it's got a bit of a bend in it. So that one looked pretty ill, but for starters I did a multimeter test on it. Of course I haven't got bloody crop clips with me. Stick the camera on the floor and stick my meter to tone, and we should hear nothing. Whereas if I short it, we hear a little buzz. So as I say, sticking it across the ends, nothing. Now if I place this camera somewhere where you can't see a damn thing because the sun's shining in. Anyway, should have brought my crop clips, as I have just said. But if I try and stick that on the end of there, basically I'm sticking that contact on there, and then I'm sticking the multimeter on the other end. Come on. Anyway, it's measuring 35 ohms on a working one, on a working element. Now, okay, so where does that get me? Okay, so I've worked out that the element there with the bends in is disconnected. It doesn't read a single thing. Now if we go to Ohm's law, voltage over I times R, V I times R, so basically volts divided by I equals R, volts divided by R equals I, watts equals volts times amps. So So we have 120 volts divided by 35 equals 3.4 amps. So let's just do that to prove things. 120 volts divided by 35 ohms equals 3.428 blah blah blah. Yeah, so if we then multiply that by 120, we get 411 watts. So the element is 411 watts. Now if we were having 115 volts running through this, let's cancel that. Right, so we'd say 115 divided by 35 ohms equals 3.285. Right, so you know, it seems a bit silly doing all this, but anyway, that's the way it is. So 3.28 amps multiplied by 115 volts equals 377 watts. Now if you go online, you can actually find a part on a website in South Africa for a Kelvinator. I might put it in the video, Kelvinator element part, but anywhere in Britain I can't find this element, so I don't know what it is, but there's a quick fix to this. If you do have this model of Cookworks and you are trying to fix the thing, there is an answer, because if you look down at the bottom, there are 4 elements all the same in this cooker. If you look over here, you've got them in the bottom of the cooker as well as at the top. So the plan for me is, as I don't use the elements at the base, I'm going to steal one out the base and mount it in the top, and all should be happy and well again. Just to show you, there's the elements at the base, and up there is the element at the top. So it's nice if you do buy one of these, it comes with 2 spare elements, because I never use the base elements, but I would rather have 2 working top elements. Now the other option is that I buy an element for a different unit which will fit inside the top of this, and I cut a new hole, because there's loads of elements which are just mounted on a rectangular plate here with these connectors coming through. So basically, if you cut a new hole in the case here, you can push the element in from the inside and mount it with 2 screws here, and then basically just connect your wires back up again. At the most, you might have to do some modifications extending the wiring, but I suspect that I could work something out, get a little bit of slack out of somewhere. Yeah, but it's simple to do that. So that's the other option, and I could potentially put but as long as you don't overdo it, you could put a slightly better element inside, one that zigzags around maybe, as long as you can fit it inside the case. My only problem with that is, if you do this, I'm worried about when the element gets hot, about it drooping. As you can see, this element here, very simple one, has drooped slightly. It's because I've ran it for a while at too high a temperature, and it's just decided it's had enough. Normally I don't overcook the element, I keep it slightly turned down, and that's all done with this thermostatic control here at the front. I've got the camera on a cord at the moment charging. Basically that's all done here. So I normally have it on this little arrow there, but you can see what does that say, 230 there, temperature. So I normally have it slightly lower so that I don't overcook the element, so the thermostat keeps turning the element on and off and doesn't overdo it. Yeah, so there we go, that's the answer. So I'm going to do that and then it'll all work again, okay? So once it's all back together, powered it up, turned on the timer, and you can now see the elements starting to warm up, going a nice sort of cherry red up there. So all working, and the old knackered element is put back in. Don't leave wires dangling inside the case which are going nowhere. Also do a check, stick your hand on it, make sure you don't get electrocuted. Only kidding about that, only kidding. But make sure all the terminals are all correctly reconnected and not going to fall off and cause electric shocks. So there you go, there's I suppose you could call that a life hack if you own one of these Cookworks mini ovens. How to replace an element because you've got two spares. Okay? This is the website where these elements are for sale. Kelvinator Mini Oven Grill Element, 115 volt, 300 watt. Part number EB28MOB. Fits model KCL28MOB. And there it is. 375 millimeters in length. And if you click on it, there's the image. You can see the little plate at the end. The only difference is the terminal, the power terminal, points the opposite way, but that shouldn't make any difference. So basically a 300 watt element, so that basically means two elements will be 600 watt, and 115 volts times 2, 230 volts nominal. So there you go. So that would be the one. Appliances, appliancespares.co.za is the website. I think they're possibly South Africa or somewhere. Anyway, that's it.